Look, I'm also going to talk to David Cumin this morning about this news coming out of the Middle East that Iran has launched a barrage of ballistic missiles at Israel, and people in Israel are in bomb shelters. In fact, David Cumin from the Israel Institute joins us now. David, before we get on to this thing from Israel, what is the news you are getting out of Israel about this latest Iranian attack?
About 10 million people are hiding in bomb shelters, hoping that nothing is destroyed and no one is harmed. There are about 180 plus ballistic missiles being fired from Iran, and it's a deeply troubling time.
Is that an escalation or a continuation?
Given the events over the last year, since October 7th and the massacre and the thousands of rockets from Iranian proxies, I would say it's a continuation. Don't forget that earlier this year there were 300-odd missiles and drones fired from Iran. So this is not as extreme as that. But of course, whether it's whatever word you give it, it's not good.
Mm. And I can tell you, David, right now, people would be saying this is what the people of Gaza are kind of suffering every day.
Well, the people in Gaza are celebrating this, and it's obscene mostly because the one confirmed casualty that I've read about is someone from Gaza who happened to be near Jericho. And you have to remember that these ballistic missiles sent from Iran are not targeted. They are indiscriminately wanting to murder Israelis.
So they're like a doodlebug bomb in World War II. They could hit anywhere.
They could, and they are hitting anywhere. Fortunately, Israel has invested in technology to disrupt them and in shelters for people, and unfortunately, the Israeli citizens know how to get to their bomb shelter pretty quick.
Mm. Is the Iron Dome not working or not a protection against these missiles?
As far as I understand it, it is. It's intercepting them, but these are extraordinarily large pieces of metal and explosives in the air, and so when the Iron Dome does intercept them, there is large debris that falls, and that, as I understand it, has been the cause of the fatality and a lot of destruction.
Wow. All right. Look, David, back to the original, and of course we keep an eye on that, and I think everyone concerned at events in that part of the world. Unless, of course, you would happen to be Damien O'Connor, Labour MP, in which case it would appear by his tweets and retweets that he is supportive, as the anniversary approaches. He believes Hamas was justified in launching the attacks into Israel it did on October the 7th last year. Is that your interpretation of Mr. O'Connor's stance, and do you think it's justified?
I think any reasonable person that reads Palestinians have every right to do whatever they did on October 7th would come to the same conclusion. It's obscene. This is a senior MP who has a foreign affairs spokesperson role, associate, that is publicly declaring his justification for the rape and torture and kidnapping and slaughter of Israelis. It's obscene. Yeah. And what's more obscene is this is a pattern of behavior. It's not just a one-off tweet that he could say, was accidentally clicked on or something. His whole social media feed is rife with quasi-justifications and comparing Israel to Nazis and the most hideous of things. And his party does nothing.
Mm. Now, I want to check here. Has the Institute approached anyone in the Labour Party about this issue?
Yes, we've written to the leader, Chris Hipkins, and Damien, and said, please explain your policy.
And maybe apologise if we've got it wrong?
Well,
or clarify?
That's up to them. You clarify exactly what we were asking. Is this official Labour policy, given that your associate foreign affairs spokesperson is publicly stating it? And what we've heard is nothing back to us privately, but publicly we've heard Oh, Damien O'Collar's removed the tweet.
But they didn't even come back and say he's taken it down. But he's removed the tweet. Does that indicate to you, David, really that they know they're wrong?
Unfortunately, that indicates to me that they don't want it to be public. If they know that they're wrong, then the proper and adult and right thing to do is to say, we're wrong. This is not our official policy. Actually, we abhor the greatest slaughter of Jews since the Holocaust and the barbarity with which a designated terror group raped and slaughtered and mutilated and butchered and kidnapped and murdered civilians. That is against everything that we stand for, and it was an egregious error to have posted that. It wasn't read properly, whatever excuse you want to make. But that's not what's happened. What's happened is they've said, essentially, we're very sorry for saying the quiet bit out loud.
Wow, okay. So you've had nothing official back from Chris Hipkins or Damien O'Connor?
No, not personally.
All right, and I guess the anniversary is coming up. What is the Jewish community or the Israeli community, expat community in New Zealand going to be doing on the 7th?
There are a number of commemoration events that people will get together and pray for peace, as we always do. It also is tonight, actually, marks the start of the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, and as we always do, we'll be praying for peace as well.
I didn't know that. Thank you very much for telling me.